Hey guys, Ron Bond, Bondo Build Construction here. I'm out in my shop today and I wanted to show you guys my wood boiler setup that I got here. I just bought a used wood boiler, so I want to show you how it works. I'm pretty impressed with it so far. A lot of you guys asking how we heat the concrete up. You know, I did a lot of videos this summer on us putting the in-floor radiant heat down. And I get quite a few questions on, you know, can you run a wood boiler to heat your in-floor heat? Well, yeah, you can. You can use anything that heats water. You can use propane, natural gas, oil-fired appliance. We use water heaters a lot of time, but I use a wood boiler to heat my own house, and I've built several wood boilers, and this one I bought from a company called Alternate Heating Systems, but it's an updraft wood boiler, and it's not a gasifying downdraft wood boiler. They do make a downdraft wood boiler called the Wood Gun, which I used to have a wood gun in my other house. But I picked this used boiler up, this updraft wood boiler, and I'm impressed with how clean the thing is burning. So I just wanted to show you guys my setup, how I got my wood and stuff, maybe give you some ideas how I plumbed it up. And this is a pretty good setup if you want to burn wood, so stay with us. Okay guys, so here it is. This is the setup. Like I said, it's an updraft wood boiler. It's made by Alternate Heating Systems, Harrisonville, PA. Same company that builds the Wood Gun, which is a real well-known downdraft gasifying wood boiler. But this is, like I said, just a simple updraft wood boiler. But it's got some cool features I wanted to show you guys. It's non-insulated, but we're in my shop here, guys, so I don't care if it's not insulated because it heats my shop. And I got in-floor heat here, which we put in, running one pump, running all those right down in. I got the zone controller here. This is a 3-speed pump. I just put this pump on. It's a little dirty because I was cleaning up, but it's got 3 speeds. I got it on low. It's got a low and a medium and a high here, but I run it on low, which is working really good. So this boiler is a pressurized boiler. Here you can see we're running like 20 pounds of pressure. It's got like a arrow here. You don't want to get it over, you know, your boiling point, which is looks like 225. It's gonna be anything below 200 would be safe, so we got that mark about 225. It looks like it's got a blow-off valve on it here, so I'm gonna plumb that so it comes out and goes down, because we did blow it off because that was a bad deal. It ended up blowing off and shooting out here because we overfired it. Didn't have the right size expansion tank, so I got a big expansion tank on there now. I put a smaller one on there temporarily. That was a bad idea. So this thing has an oil burner on it, guys, right here, which actually has its own separate chamber right here. It's got its own separate chamber. This is separate from the wood part. It does have a hole where it comes, I'll show you in a minute, where it goes into the firebox to vent. It'll come into the firebox and then go back out the chimney right here. And it's got a Riello burner on it. I haven't hooked this up yet, guys. I'm not sure exactly how to do it, so I'm gonna have my buddy help me. But I got this tank here, which is a tank off tractor trailer, and that's what I'm gonna have. It just holds 100 gallons of fuel, so that should be more than adequate. I got a little stand here to put it on, and I got the filter and everything set up here, and I got a shut-off valve here. So I'm just gonna run a copper line over to the burner, which is right here. Like I said, I haven't done that yet. So this boiler, let me tell you some things I learned about it hooking it up. This is gonna control the oil burner. That's your reset for your oil burner. Like I said, that's not hooked up yet. It has up here, it has a high limit. It's upside down, but it says high limit for oil. So that's gonna control the oil burner high limit. And it's got an operating limit here, which operates the wood boiler. So you can set this aquastat. This is an aquastat, these two things, guys. You can set the temperature. We got the temperature at like 140, I believe. So that's gonna wanna maintain this wood boiler at 140. And then over here, guys, is it's marked. It's got, let me go around to the side. This one here, it's got a high limit on it for the wood. That's the high limit for the wood. And it's got a circulator override. So what I figured out with the circulator override is that circulator override, what you want to do with that is we wired it up to the box over here. Goes into this box, which will turn the pump on. It's more or less like a dump zone, guys. What it'll do is if the boiler overheats, it'll turn it on. It'll send a signal to this box, which will send a signal to the pump to turn on, so that your boiler won't, you know, do what it did the other day and blow water out your pressure valve. It'll actually, because that water will expand. It gets too hot, and the expansion tank wasn't big enough, like I said, because I had ordered this bigger tank, but I had a smaller one. I just picked up as a temporary because it was freezing in the house, so I wanted to get it warmed up in there. So that's what I did. So some more things I can tell you here. So that's your controls. Like here's your pressure and your heat gauge. Right now we're running at about 150. And here's the model number of it, guys. It's a CO55. So this thing will burn coal, wood, or oil. So pretty sweet. And kind of neat how it works. There's a motor right here, which when the boiler calls for heat, it's gonna pull this, or this is a motorized mechanism right here, guys. So this will rise up like that. And inside of here, it opens up a damper, which lets secondary air into the door, which will go down and under the fire. It preheats the air, which will cause secondary combustion in the gases that are in the top of the boiler. And then this chain is hooked right here, and it picks up the bottom like that, which lets air in underneath there's these grates right here. You turn this and there's a grate in there. That's how you can spin it to clean it. There's an ash pan inside of here. Just open that door. And then it's got this main power here. It's got this, which is off here. Wood auto, which will automatically turn it on from oil, or from wood, it'll go to oil when it goes out. And then it's got just your oil over here. I gotta redraw them, getting kind of faded. Main power off, wood, auto, and oil. So that's that box there. And let me see, I'll open it up. Got a small fire going right now. This here, you pull that open when you go to load it, and I don't know if you can see it. It opens, see that hole right there, guys? It opens up that damper, so it lets the smoke and stuff out when you fill it. That hole there in the back is where the oil burner exhausts into the firebox, and then it'll go up and out. So you're kind of, that secondary chamber blows the gases from the oil burner in there, and that's how that works. It's got fire brick in the bottom of it. The air comes in down there, comes up through the middle, and you can see it ain't even smoking right now. Of course, there ain't much in it, but that's how that works. And wait, here's your door, guys. So air comes in here. There's a little flap up in there. You can see that. Yeah, it's partially open right now. You can see it right there. It's partially open, that flap right here. And you can adjust that. Right now it's maintained partially open even though it's not calling. So then the air goes in the door, which keeps the door cool so it doesn't warp in it. The air comes down into the door and out this hole, which preheats the air. So, and then your gases will be up in the top of the boiler, will reignite the gases from the wood. So this thing is really, for an updraft boiler, like I said, I'm pretty impressed with it. It doesn't smoke at all. I can close that. After you load it, you want to close that, and that'll force your gases up in the top, and they got to come to the front of the boiler and up and back out. And that's when you get your secondary air coming out of here, which is gonna light them gases up. So there's the boiler. Pretty impressed so far. Gotta hook the oil up. I'll show you, again, here's how my setup is for my shop, guys. This is all I got here. As I stressed in all my other videos, these PEX lines are all the same length. All exactly the same length within 10 feet, let's say. So I don't need any balancing valves or nothing here. Everything's just wide open. This system flows equally. Everything's even. I got one pump, just a simple pump with a couple of flanges on it. This pump is, I just bought this pump. It's a replacement for I used to run 009 pumps. This pump is 0015, which is a replacement for about 3 different pumps, guys. It's got an internal flow check, so it's a 0015. This will do a lot of applications because it's got that high, low, high, and medium. So the low is going to be for your high head pressure, and your medium is going to be a little less, and then your bigger flows, you're going to want to run it on high. But the guy told me this pump will replace a lot of different pumps. This is what they're going to. They're getting away from like 007, 008, and 009. They're going to run this pump for all 3 applications. So if you need a 007, you'd run it on high, which is a low restriction, low head pressure. This creosote that's dripping down the wall, that's from my other wood boiler. That's a mess. See it running down? That's from the old wood boiler. It got clogged up and wasn't burning good at all. This thing, you can see how clean the chimney is. Chimney's nice and clean. Of course, it's new, but this here's a domestic coil, guys. I forgot to say that too. This here's got a domestic coil, so if I wanted to run hot water out of my boiler, I could run it right through here. The guy that had it cut this off. He must have had it hooked up to his water heater. I have a different way of getting hot water to my domestic hot water. I'll show you that in a minute. So I don't even need this. I'm just gonna leave it. I could cap it off, but there's nothing running through it. Again, there's my PEX tubing coming out of the floor. I got this here. I cemented that in as I can drop a thermostat down in my slab, and I could control the slab temperature off of that. I could put a little slab temperature gauge down and slide it down in the hole into the slab, and that would tell me my slab temperature, but I don't have that hooked up. These are mixing valves, guys, because the boiler wants to run about 160 to between 160 and 180. So these mixing valves will mix the water down so that it's like 120. I got one here and I got one here. So this is how simple this system is. And these lines right here, this one and this one, run over to inside my house. So I made these lines because I didn't need to spend a lot of money on the PEX tubing that you buy with the spray foam insulation, because it's in my shop, so I don't care if I lose a little bit of heat. So I just put this cheap insulation around it. It's 1-inch oxygen barrier PEX, and it runs. I put it in a sewer and drain line. I just kind of strapped it to the wall, so it runs over here, guys, all the way across my shop, and it goes right over here by the welder, and it pops through the wall right there. Turns 90 and runs through, and I'll show you where it goes from there. So this is my shop. I'm going into the breezeway now. It actually runs, it pops through there. You can't see it, it's inside this cellulose up in here. It runs along in here, and then it's gonna go down into my basement, down through here. And this is my house here. So this is my house. Got a timber frame that I built myself, me and my buddy Colin, the same guy that does the roofing. We built this. And here's my thermostat that controls downstairs. I got it set at 75. So it says heat on right now, so that means the pump's running downstairs. I'll take you downstairs. ground concrete for you guys. The concrete, guys, that's what it looks like if you grind it down. Pretty cool. This floor is super warm, guys. I got the radiant heat going, but that's that ground concrete. It exposes the aggregate. Looks really cool. Got some deer heads here. A few deer heads laying around that I haven't hung up yet. There's a couple more. I gotta hang them up. But anyways, down here, this is my setup. You can hear the pump running. Pretty simple setup. Those lines that I was telling you, that red right here, that's my lines coming in. They run down here, right down behind here, and then they come through here and up, and they run to this pump. One runs to the pump, and this one is the return. So there's them two big red lines. So this pump, I got one 009 pump here, guys. Flanges on each side, so I can replace it if I need to. I got 3 zone valves here. Got ways to bleed all the air off. One there, and there. You can bleed air out of it. Only zone valve I got hooked up right now is this one. I just got these manually open right now. I'm gonna put a thermostat on this one, and I'm just gonna put an aquastat on this one. So I'll explain what's going on here. So this one that's running, guys, it goes up and it runs into them PEX tubings right there that are up in my floor joists. And then they return here, which comes into this return line. And then this one here runs into my concrete floor, goes up, down, right into my concrete right here. Returns here, which goes into the copper line, that same return line. And then this one, guys, comes out of there, goes up, goes into the thread line, comes over, goes into my homemade heat exchanger. I made a sidearm heat exchanger. It's a big one. See how big it is? It's really tall. I got just an electric hot water heater here. This is a 50-gallon hot water heater, big one. So this thing's really hot right now. You can barely touch it because I got the pumps running, calling for heat right now in the house. And I got this manually open right now. It's just slid over and locked open. So I got constant flow through this heat exchanger. You can see it's a pipe inside of a pipe, guys. So here's the inside pipe and here's the outside pipe. So this boiler water runs around, goes out in the outside pipe. The inside pipe runs into the top of my water heater here and just circulates the water back and forth via convection. And I got a drain down at the bottom. And here's the other going out. Goes right up and out. So you got your supply. Or actually your supply would be on the bottom, I think. Yeah, the supply's on the bottom. It goes from here up, comes down, goes down to there, and then runs up, and that's the return right there, and it goes over to the return side. That's home run plumbing there. That's my domestic plumbing. That's just home run plumbing. I got a video on how to do home run plumbing. That's real easy. So that's the setup here, guys. I just wanted to show you that. Actually, I'll show you one more thing out in the garage. I'm still working on a couple circuits inside there, but oh yeah, here's the control box, guys, that controls the pump and the zone valves. So I don't have a screwdriver to open it, but this basically takes your 24 volt. This thermostat wire comes from upstairs that I showed you, that thermostat, and it'll come into here and it'll tell, there is a 24 volt signal that'll tell the pump, it'll tell the pump to turn on. Actually, it'll tell the zone valve to open. So it tells the zone valve to open, and when the zone valve opens, it makes a contact which turns the pump on. That way the pump won't run when the zone valves are closed. So if these zone valves are all closed, the pump won't ever turn on and won't sit there trying to pump to a dead end. You know, these would be closed. It'd be a dead end. So, and I set all this up myself, guys. It's pretty simple, really. Not as hard as it looks. This has a power coming out of my panel box. That's why the panel box is open. I just hooked this up. I didn't have it hooked up before. But I'll take you out in the garage and show you one more thing real quick. So here's my thermostat in the garage, guys. It's 78 in here right now. Pretty warm. And back to my control box there. See how it says zone 1 on it? It says power, green, zone 1's off. So if I turn this on, turn it up, I mean, it's set for 75. Let's turn it up to 80. And watch this over here. Bingo. She just turned on. You can hear the pump running. So now it's pumping water through my tubing into my floor. It's calling for heat. So that's how simple that is, guys. Same thing with this. This is just a 1-zone controller. Downstairs I have a 3, and I have the zone valves where this is just a 1 pump deal. So this is real simple. But guys that are doing shops and stuff, this is a good setup for your shop. If you got a wood boiler, real simple setup. So right now that pump's running, pumping into the floor. You can barely feel it run, real quiet pump. There it is. So if I turn it back down, back down to 75, it should turn off, guys. Yep, just turned off. Zone 1's off. So pump's off. Zone 1's off. It says it's satisfied. There's 24 volts running into this too, guys, off the thermostat. That's this here. Snake it through the wall. You see it goes up and down over to the thermostat. And then this has power coming to it right here off the high limit. That's this. Actually, that's not the power coming into it. This black wire is the power coming into it. That's my 110 coming into it, going in here. And then that's my high limit wire. Like I said, that'll dump the heat into the floor if it's too hot, if the boiler overheats. And then this is just my power going to my pump. So a lot simpler than it really looks. It's not complicated at all, really. So I'm going to show you here how I'll load this boiler up and show you how clean it burns, guys. We'll do that too. Stay with us. Okay, so I got some dry wood. This wood's pretty dry. Not too bad. It's not super dry, but it's fairly dry. I'm kind of experimenting with different moisture contents with the wood. This wood here is pretty damp. This was actually uncovered outside, so I'm gonna throw one of them in there. I'm gonna throw one of these in there. So I got a couple wet ones, a couple dry ones. Let's throw another drier one in there. Like I said, I'm kind of experimenting here with different woods. You can see this wood is pretty wet right here. It's even got some dirt on it and stuff. This wood's moss on it, dirt on it. It's pretty wet. Like I said, this wood, this is definitely wet. So I'm gonna throw that on there. I'm gonna let it sit for about 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna see how it's burning. See what the chimney looks like. You can see she's already starting to catch. And if it starts to smoke, you just pull that baby open, which will kind of suck it out the chimney more. So I'm gonna leave that be, and I'm wait maybe 15 minutes, and I'll see how she's doing. And right now we're at 140 degrees. Okay guys, looking at my chimney. I put that wood in there about 20 minutes ago, and I don't see any smoke coming out of there really. Looks pretty much just a tiny, maybe tiny bit of smoke. I can see the heat coming out of it. It's not a super cold day, so it's probably like 48, 45, 46. That's just a cloud you'll see in there. I mean, that is not smoking, guys. Nothing coming out of there, barely. Maybe a little puff every once in a while. So we're going into the shop. Said there's that wet wood. I just pulled it out of the outside today, and it's gotten rained on and everything else. Back to the boiler. She's burning pretty hot for a warmer day, warmish day. So that's drafting really good, guys. Super good. And that bottom flat's not even open. That's closed. So it's getting a little bit of air through the top vent here. Almost 160. Just rising up slowly. And that's what I wanted to show you. If you guys like these videos, I'll do more. Just let me know. Concrete right now, we've slowed down on concrete, pretty much done concrete here in central New York for the winter. But I can start doing radiant heat stuff for you guys, showing you different stuff on radiant heat. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of stuff, guys. I can show you all different ways to heat your radiant heat, the stuff that we put in all summer long. I showed you how to put that radiant heat in. And I could show you different ways that you can heat up your systems when you're building them. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next video, guys. I'm going hunting. Thanks.